Hey guys, welcome back to the URM Academy YouTube channel where we help you kick ass at mixing. I'm Joey Sturgis, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell button to get notified when we upload new videos. Now today we've got something awesome for you. It's our good buddy Joel Wanasek, and he's sharing some really amazing techniques for learning how to actually hear compression. Now when most of us think about compression, we probably just think of an automatic volume knob, but Joel really splits the hairs here and describes it as an art form. This preview comes from our Fast Track course on hearing compression, which is part of the URM Enhanced program. There's more details about that at the end of the video, but for now, let's just jump in and learn how to hear compression.
Now we're going to learn how to hear movement in the context of a snare drum. In front of me I have a really groovy track, and it's got all kinds of different dynamic of snare playing, so let's use a compressor and get some movement out of it. So here's what it sounds like by itself with no compression on it. All right, so I'm going to solo the snare. I'm going to unbypass the compressor. We're going to go to the highest ratio. We're going to crush it as hard as we possibly can. We're going to set the attack to in the medium range, about 50%, and the fastest release. Now we're going to listen. Reference. Here's what it sounds like bypassed. Now we're going to compare what it sounds like with a release at going between the fastest and 75% of max. So let's listen. You'll notice, because of the tempo of the song, the type of snare it is, it has a very hard characteristic to it, and there's so much transient coming through, and it's almost really impossible to hear the movement of it. Like, it really sounds choked off, and it sounds like there's no movement, if that makes sense. So now let's try 50% and compare it to the fastest and see what it sounds like. Now clearly you would never nuke a snare like this with this much gain reduction and this high of a ratio, but you can definitely hear how it affects the groove of the snare, and the snare definitely sounds better at 50%. Like, it's got a little bit more groove, a little bit more sustain to it than it does at 75%. So now let's compare what the snare sounds like and hear the movement between the fastest release and 25% of maximum. You can hear that at 25% of maximum. The snare has a lot of groove to it. It's got some nice sustain to it, and it definitely has a bit of a movement to it. So the fastest release sounds very splatty, which is pretty cool. And I think that's a combination of having the attacks at where it's at, but it's a very splatty sound. And then the release when it's at 25% of max kind of has a little bit more of a sustain to it and a little bit more of a movement to it, like a push and a pull. So let's set the release, let's set it where it sounds best, which I think is right around the 25% mark because the song's a little bit faster. So I'm gonna just fine tune it a little bit by ear. And when I do this, what I do is I pick the spots, and instead of slowly scrolling, which I do in a very small range, I kind of jump. So I'm going from 3 to 4 on the dial, 3 to 5 on the dial, and kind of just listening and seeing what sounds better, what I'm getting more excited about. So let's keep listening. To me, that sounds fantastic right there. So now I'm gonna go and play with the attack because I might want more transient coming through, I might want less, but I gotta hear it first. Now, I like a little bit of that splat, but I think I had too much when it was set at 50% of attack, so I brought it back to be a little bit slower and let a little bit more transient through, but not too much. So now I have the attack release dialed in. I'm gonna pull back on the ratio to something more open, pull back on the input, and let's try to get the snare in the mix and hear what it sounds like with and without movement. Now we're gonna listen to the snare in context with the compression that's generating movement on it versus the snare by itself when it's raw. First is raw and bypass. And if you're hearing the movement, you can definitely hear the snare has a nice little bit of extra swing to it, and it kind of takes the feel of it and gives it a little bit of extra bounce and spunk, and it kind of makes the song a little bit more fun. So that was another great example of how compression movement can really influence the groove and the vibe of a song. Imagine that extrapolated across all tracks, and the cumulative effect, you can have things moving with and against each other and create all sorts of kind of cool sounds and vibes and grooves in your music. So let's dig into some more examples and hear some more sources. If you've ever recorded a song or mixed one in your life, produced one, you've probably had to use a compressor, as it's one of our most powerful tools in audio. Now, every engineer I've ever met in my life or known has struggled with compression. Attack times, release times, learning how to hear that stuff, it takes years. It's incredibly difficult, very mystifying, and just a complete challenge to unlock. Today, I'm gonna get you on the fast track to hearing compression better, because once you can hear it, you can master it, and you can understand it.